Hello, Carla and future Mr. Yund. This is our Chapter 7 Reflection. So, I have some notes here from going through the chapter. First thing, let's take a look at the chapter. Alright, we got our basic intro with the video summarizing the chapter and the standard vocab quiz. There's a sick day thrown in here. I had to take a sick day. And that's where Fun Facts of History comes from. It's a rando sick day assignment I pre-made for just such an occasion. Coincidentally, I made it like last week, so just in time. The kids liked it, though. I had a lot of kids comment that they enjoyed that assignment. I did have one kid say that he refused to do it because the YouTube video in it, it's a YouTube video with like fun history stuff in it. Let's take a look. It's like 10 amazing pictures they won't show in history books. It's nothing crazy. It tends to be on the darker end, like iron lung, stuff like that. Kind of glossed over things, but nothing inappropriate. And then, hey, just basically write about one thing that stuck out. And I got compliments from the kids that they enjoyed the assignment. And then there's the one kid who said that he refused to do it because the video looked like Facebook clickbait, but he actually submitted an alternate assignment on his own initiative, so I was like, that's fine with me. Cool sauce. So no real problems there on the sick day. I have a note here that I had to change a question 4 on the Chapter 7 Lesson 1 quiz. And I can't remember if I did that yet, so let's take a look. It was confusing the children. 1, 2, 3, 4, alright. Yes. It was too confusing because in some city-states, native Greek males that owned property could vote, but in other Greek city-states, they didn't have to necessarily own property to vote, so it would be like all Greek men. So there's confusion. I'm still going to have to fix that. So I will make a note to switch that quiz question. There was an error in my Kahoot for the Greek versal lesson number 2. I did already fix that. It was basically there were 2 correct answers. Those kids are really competitive in Kahoot, so that's kind of a big deal for them. Let's see. Oh, I had a thought while I was making the chapter. There is a lot of supplemental information when you learn about the ancient Greeks, and so a thought I had for next year was to find sort of an add-on, a supplemental video to put at the end of each lesson here. And really, that's probably a pretty good idea for most lessons. Sometimes there's just not a lot of extra info. We hit what we know pretty well, but once we get further in the history and there's more resources on it, there's a lot more potential for supplemental information in the advanced class. So something to look into next year. Maybe that'll be one of my big improvements next year. For example, like this year, I've been reformatting it all, making everything cleaner and with nice tables and stuff like that, and standardized picture sizes and stuff like that. Clean it up. Maybe that will be my big change next year. Which, incidentally, we know this by now. I reformatted all the objective pages and put some time into each vocabulary page, adding a picture along with the definition. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have for 8. The kids did pretty well on all of it. They just did the test. Oh, look at that. Test day is tomorrow. So today's study day. We'll see how it goes. But it's probably going to go. They always do pretty well. And that's pretty much Chapter 8. I did this week. I'm doing a lesson I made a couple years ago called, because it's our last virtual lesson week before the winter break, because next week is map testing. So I did my Christmas around the world, but my student population has become increasingly diverse, and I always have a lot of Muslim students, and they don't have a winter holiday. Before it was easy, their kids are Christian or they're Jewish, and we talk about Christmas and Hanukkah traditions. Now I have to sort of make it more, diverse. So I'm going to work on my virtual lesson for later in the week. I'm going to revamp it, to just talk about sort of holiday traditions in general. So it will encompass Christmas and Hanukkah, and then whatever else they happen to do, be it Ramadan. And I winged it the first 2 times, and it worked great. It worked fine. I fired and adjusted the first time I did it, and the second time I did it. But it seems like we have an increasingly diverse population, and so Christmas around the world just doesn't fly anymore. So, change there. That's it. That's it. By the time we actually get to World Studies virtual lessons, we'll actually be diving into Greek civilization, with the exception of tomorrow, which is the 13th. So there we are. Changes for 7. We'll be moving into kids will be moving into 8 soon, and yeah, I'll probably be making the video for that. Maybe on the 22nd. Maybe when we get back. I'll see you then.